17 years after I found an 8-year-old girl selling wilted flowers outside a Walmart, her billionaire biological mother handed her the keys to a silver Ferrari and said, "You've proven you're worthy of coming home." My daughter took the keys. Then she looked straight at me. I stood at the back of the University of Cincinnati's engineering pavilion, holding a white envelope with $300 inside, my graduation gift, the most I could manage without touching the property tax money. My old suit hung loose since I'd lost weight after retiring. None of that bothered me until I saw the silver car outside with a red ribbon across the hood, and the woman standing beside my daughter, Victoria Langford, whose name was on hospital wings across Ohio. It started 17 years earlier, on a freezing November night outside a Walmart on Wilmington Pike in Dayton. I was 46, delivering mail, covering a sick coworker's route. I stopped for coffee and saw a small girl near the cart return in a thin gray sweatshirt, holding 5 wilted flowers wrapped in newspaper. People walked past her. I bought all 5 for $10. She refused the change, insisting she wasn't begging. I bought her chicken nuggets inside. She wrapped 2 in a napkin for tomorrow. When I asked her name, she said Emily, claimed she was 9, she wasn't, and stiffened when I asked about her parents. I called the police quietly, not quietly enough. She bolted, slipped in the parking lot rain, and refused to let me near her. A social worker named Margaret Sloan told me Emily had run from a foster placement where an older boy had been threatening her, that her mother had abandoned her with an acquaintance years earlier, and no one could locate that mother. I wasn't allowed to take Emily home that night, but I called Margaret again, and started the long process of becoming a licensed foster parent. Background checks, home inspections, training. 7 months later, Emily walked into my house in Belmont carrying everything she owned in a trash bag. She hid crackers under her mattress and packed her bag every morning, certain she'd be moved again. When she broke a glass and froze in terror, I just got the broom. "It's a glass, kiddo, we've got more." She cried on the kitchen floor for the first time. Nearly 2 years later, a judge finalized the adoption. She called me Dad for the first time outside that courtroom. I didn't know then that Victoria Langford had known where Emily lived the entire time. Her school, my overtime shifts, everything, and never once came to the door. The years that followed were ordinary in the way that actually builds a home. A $12 garage sale bicycle we repainted together. A suspension at 14 for punching a boy who called her a charity case. I made her apologize, and told her shame wasn't permission for cruelty. 3 nights relearning algebra so I could help her study. When she got into the biomedical engineering program at Cincinnati, I sold my late wife's fishing boat for $4,800 to cover her housing deposit. Emily was furious I hadn't asked her first. "You're not taking anything from me," I told her. "I'm choosing where to put it." By graduation, my knee was worse, my memory less reliable, though I hid most of it from her. I drove to Cincinnati in my 2005 Ford, with the same $300 in an envelope marked, "For whatever comes next." Then, after the ceremony, Victoria Langford took the microphone at the reception, announced she was Emily's biological mother, and presented her with the Ferrari. "You've proven you're worthy of coming home," she said. Emily took the key. Then Victoria offered a cream folder, a family reconciliation agreement, with a pen already uncapped and waiting. Emily didn't sign. She asked what exactly she'd be agreeing to. Victoria called it a formality protecting everyone's privacy. Emily kept asking questions until Victoria admitted she'd known Emily's address for years through paid investigators. She pulled a folded investigator's report from her gown, dated years earlier, noting my overtime shifts and Emily's dental bills. Someone had been watching us the whole time and writing it down. Then a woman in the crowd stood, Claire Reynolds, an attorney representing an independent trust. Victoria's husband, Daniel Langford, had died 8 months earlier. His trust covered all verified biological children, and a DNA test had confirmed Emily was his daughter, entitled to a share regardless of whether she signed anything or moved in with Victoria. Emily had known for 3 weeks and hadn't told me. She'd needed to find out why Victoria was really coming back. Claire read through the agreement's actual terms. Emily would have to claim Victoria made reasonable efforts to find her, agree never to discuss her childhood publicly, and give a Langford communications team approval over her own story. Victoria protested it was to protect Emily from a media circus. "You created one," Emily said. Emily kept the Ferrari key, then asked Claire to transfer the car directly to the Miami Valley Foster Youth Alliance to be auctioned for kids aging out of foster care. It's for kids whose parents know where they are and still don't come, she said. The pavilion rose in applause. Victoria left without another word. In the truck afterward, the silence between Emily and me wasn't the comfortable kind. I asked why she hadn't told me sooner. You would have tried to fix it, she said. I admitted the real fear, that seeing Victoria's wealth, she'd realize she'd settled for my life. You're not competing with her, Emily said quietly. She's competing with 17 years she can't get back. And she's losing, because you were there. At a rest stop, I gave her the envelope. She opened it, saw the $300 and the note, and said it was the first thing anyone had given her that day without expecting something back. The video of her speech went viral within days. Some called her brave, others ungrateful, some blamed me for poisoning her. Victoria's lawyers challenged the trust claim, demanded new DNA testing, dragged out the process for months while Emily postponed her job start date twice. If I walk away, she told me one night over paperwork, she gets to decide that making this difficult is enough to erase me again. An internal review later found Langford Medical Systems had paid the investigators who tracked us for years, disguised as risk management. Victoria stepped back from the company while the board investigated. 6 months after graduation, the trustee approved Emily's claim in full. Victoria then asked for one thing: a private meeting, no lawyers, no press. Emily chose a small diner outside Dayton. Victoria arrived in jeans, without an entourage, looking tired in a way her expensive suits had always hidden. I told myself a story for 17 years, she said, that I left because I had no choice. She admitted Daniel's family had rejected the pregnancy, but that the real reason she'd stayed away so long wasn't fear of them. It was fear of facing what she'd done. I wasn't protecting Emily, she said. I was protecting myself. No excuses followed. Just, I'm sorry. Emily answered carefully. I believe you're sorry, but believing that isn't the same as pretending nothing happened. She laid out terms: no showing up unannounced at my house, no gifts meant to buy back the past, never calling me her adoptive father, never claiming she was raised by Victoria, and one lie would end things permanently. Victoria agreed to every condition. She left her personal number on the table, no assistants, no lawyers, and asked for nothing else. Emily never moved into the Langford estate or joined the company. She kept her engineering job. The Ferrari was auctioned into scholarships and housing grants for foster youth. She paid off the remaining mortgage on my house over my objections. You didn't raise me so I'd owe you, she said. You raised me so I'd know how to take care of people. The following spring, she drove me to Indian Lake, where a modest used fishing boat waited at the dock. You kept your promise, I said. No, she laughed. You kept yours. Before we drove home, she asked me to pose for a photo, not beside the boat, not beside the lake, but beside my old Ford truck. That picture still sits on my fireplace. Not the Ferrari, not the estate. Blood can explain where a child begins. It can't explain who stayed. If someone in your life proved that family is built by patience and showing up rather than by blood or money, who would that be for you? And did they ever find out how much it mattered?